Roseanne Barr sort of lost her mind a little bit a while back.
I mean, my understanding of Roseanne is that she had a traumatic brain injury when she was younger, and it completely changed her personality.
I don't know. Is that true?
I'm pretty sure that's true. Yeah, I think she was on Marin to talk about it.
Wow.
But,
okay.
She's changed since her days of her show too, is my understanding.
Which was very like progressive in messaging. Sometimes I think leftists have praised it because it's more of a portrayal of a working class family.
Yep.
Before recently,
but things have gone a little bit awkward for her. This apparently debuted, and this is her comedy special.
On Fox Nation.
Revealed on Fox Nation. That is the Fox online streaming platform.
Yeah, I got to remember to cancel my subscription because I was watching a few of the Tucker Carlson things for
movies, the Tucker Carlson originals.
Maybe I'll check this out before I do that.
This is called, it's called Cancel This.
Right. Well, I mean, and telling Matt what to do.
You know, I watched, well, let's play this clip, but I got some reference to this.
No concept of reality. They've been living in a bubble forever. Asking questions have nothing to do with the real world. What is my gender, Mom? What is my gender? Your gender is get a job. That's your gender. What are they thinking? Ask what is a woman? They don't know that. That one they're asking all the time, what is a woman? I'll tell you what a woman is. A woman is me. That's what a woman is, okay? A woman is someone who cleans up everybody else's shit. That's what a woman is.
Okay.
A woman is somebody whose boobs hang down to her knees with a prolapsed uterus from giving birth to 5 ungrateful little privileged never had to work for anything in their whole damn lives.
Censor her. So low effort.
My pronouns are kiss my.
It's just amazing. I mean,
you could have an AI write that.
Again,
no, you don't need AI to write that. You don't need. If AI was asked to write that, they'd go, seriously? You really need my help for that joke?
The pronoun joke template again?
12,000 people. You know, I watched part of Marin's special on HBO the other night. It's pretty good, actually. People should check it out. But he had a joke about, like, these comics who say that they're canceled, who come out and they're like desperate to say the same 3 jokes over and over and over again. Honestly, how many times on this program have we played that same joke of my pronouns are, well, there was a guy who ran for Congress who said,
J.R. Majewski.
My pronouns are avocado toast.
Yeah. Again, we are going to hear this meme template, this joke template
For the rest of our lives.
Until I die, Sam, right? And I hope to live long, but I'm going to be like 80 years old and hearing this.
This goes away. It always goes away. They'll swing back around. It'll be, Sharia law or,
some version of it.
What I love about it, though, is like all these comedians that are like, oh yeah, I'm not able to do the jokes I want to do in the comedy in the clubs I used to do them. But now you're on Fox News in like Peoria at a theater. Do the jokes you're ready to do now.
Yeah.
Well, these are them.
But yeah, it's just complaining about how they can't do jokes.
All their bits are exactly complaining about we can't do jokes, and the same jokes we just stole from whatever, from either I don't know, Jim Brewer, or Tim, Ted Cruz, or whoever it is, or the candidate ran in Iowa. I mean,
it's giving hog slop. That's what she's doing right now.
It really is amazingly, and God, I can't imagine a comedy world where we wouldn't be able to hear this kind of stuff. I mean, so much of this, this came up. We had an interesting conversation with Judy Gold. And she's not complaining about being able to say this stuff. She's more like talking about a concern that there is like an actual, I don't know if censorship is the right word, but there are, club owners who won't allow for certain types of people because in my estimation, maybe not hers, the audience is just not interested. And to me, I think so much of this is generational. I really do think it is generational. And I know that I sometimes sort of like fall back to this in a way that sometimes people find irritating. But people my age and older, maybe a little bit younger, but I think it's mostly my age and older, we're sort of like caught on both sides of a society that was changing somewhat rapidly. It's happened before. I mean, I really like Don Rickles. I don't know if even know you guys remember, but Don Rickles. But like, when things started to turn, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, maybe a little bit, he was like, come on, we need to be able to laugh at ourselves. And I make jokes about everybody equally and this and that. And there was a little bit of like consternation. But the fact is, there just wasn't that many comedians that were out there. There wasn't that many that were, the industry wasn't as big. It wasn't like, things weren't quite as politicized. And there is a generation of comedians, because the big, like boom happened in the late 80s, early 90s, where it became sort of like a job, like an actual, you could do this for a living. People who came up in that era, and then 20 years later, when they hit their stride, all of a sudden, like, and not all of a sudden, but a lot has changed in the past 20 years. They find themselves on the wrong side of where the culture is headed, and they're pissed. They're just pissed. And the fact of the matter is that like when they came up, there was stuff that people just like weren't interested in. And
their world was smaller. I mean, social media has changed. The generational divide is pronounced by social media as well, which is like a lot of us, on our side of this divide grew up with access to a lot of kinds of different information and perspectives, and it's piss people like Rosanne or Jim Brewer off because the world is bigger or the perspectives are larger for younger people because they're exposed to more information. For them, it seems like it's like authoritarian, but it's just more inclusivity, honestly.
Yeah, and there's also like, I'm glad that social media didn't exist and that phone cameras didn't exist when I was in comedy. I think I mentioned that with You to Go. I mean, just because a lot of it was not funny, but some of it was also sort of like, I'm not sure I would be terribly proud of that work at this time, or I would want it out there. Some of it I'm proud of, but I still don't want out there. And so, that's what we're seeing. But there's still an industry that is associated with it. But I do think, and maybe this is, I'm being a little bit too optimistic. But I do think that this, and the danger is greater in politics because you can figure out how to rule. Minoritarian rule exists in the context of politics. But in terms of like culture and society, for the most part, there is no minoritarian rule there. Like these people are going to sort of pass on, and this sort of like very narrow, subgenre of right-wing fascist comedy is going to get diminished over time, I think.
But Dave Chappelle just won a Grammy after being like infamous for transphobia for 2 years.
He did. I mean, I guess it's just, I think that like younger comedians are going to be are not going to have the opportunity to find their audience if they do stuff that largely people find to be gross.
And I just also think our generation is probably going to be less prone to try to find truth in comedy to the same degree because it's just less of a release for when social media opens you up to the internet opens you up to a bevy of information. There's less of the need for that to mean so much.
Well, sources for like humor are extremely like compared to 15 years ago. It was like, oh, the new Dane Cook CD.
Yeah, right.
Now it's like the funniest stuff you see is basically on Twitter and stuff.
What I also kind of find interesting too is that like I think the through line between like someone like Dave Chappelle and Roseanne here is like like you were saying, Emma, that it's not really a release anymore in the sense that they are also just sort of, when airing the grievances become the comedy, they're not actually revealing anything about themselves or revealing anything new about their approach to comedy, because this isn't comedy. This is them airing. I think there is a fundamental difference between airing a grievance and using that, employing that in a comedic way, as she's attempting to do, as Chappelle attempts to do, than actually doing comedy. There's nothing original about this. There's nothing funny. There's nothing provocative.
It's hack. It's hack comedy. It's comedy. I mean, it's comedy. It's just that it's hack and crappy comedy.
But and I think that's because it's not actually leading to anything. It doesn't actually expose anything about Roseanne or about Dave Chappelle. This is them defending themselves from actually having to make new material.
Nah.
I guess. I don't know. I think I have a broader, look, it's comedy when you go and, I did comedy that involved going into a Wang Computers, employee, conference or whatever it was, and making fun about development in the research and development guys come up here with their pencils and they don't know what they're doing. Stuff
maybe
like
not
that.
effective comedy.
It's comedy. No, it's just bad.
Yeah, like it's just not
bad comedy. It's not
good comedy.
Not good.
Yeah.
It's just it's hack. It is boring.
Right.
It is whiny. But it's comedy. It's just that it's comedy that is just lame.
Yeah.
It's just so lame. So lame.
I think it's pretty cutting edge.
Matt's going to keep his Fox Nation subscription after watching that.
You won't cancel this.
My pronouns are unidentified objects. Just plugging things.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That could actually be huge.